Welcome back to Harmon Homestead. I told you in the last video that we planted our fall garden a couple of days ago. It rained on it last night. It was beautiful, so hopefully everything will germinate. But every time we plant the fall garden, I always get in fall mode. I'm ready to start getting everything in the house ready for fall. And this morning I wrote a huge list. I was putting winter prep, fall prep on it. And I said, I'm gonna video this for you guys. I mean, it can't hurt. So it's things that we check every year and things that we have learned even up until last winter. We'll go over that with you and just talk about a few things that you need to be doing now instead of when a winter storm hits. Guys, last year in December, especially if you're from Alabama, you'll remember this. The week of Christmas, it was awful. There were wind advisories. It was extreme cold. There were freeze warnings. It was rough. I don't remember anything being that bad here, except hearing about the winter blizzard of 93. And I was 11 months old when that happened, so I don't remember it. But it was rough, and we learned a lot. So I kind of wrote everything down, and we need to get ready for this stuff. Okay, number one, a heat source. A couple of years ago, I talked about Hurricane Zeta. This house is electric. Everything in this house is electric. It's an old house. There's nothing modern to it. When I was a child, we had gas logs. There's a gas line run to an actual brick fireplace, but we didn't have a tank. We didn't have gas logs that worked. We were without heat for 8 days during Hurricane Zeta when it hit. That was awful. The night it hit, it was 80-something degrees. The next day, it was 20-something degrees that night. It was awful. So you need to have a backup source of heat. Preferably, I would give anything if I had a wood stove, something like that. Can't have that here. The fireplace is so small, it would take a very small wood stove to put in it. We just went back with gas logs. We got a new set of those and a gas tank. Do not wait until October to go get a gas tank. You won't get it. They're not around here. I called 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They said, well, we can get to you in January. And that was October. We called every company from counties away to everybody in our county. No one could get to me at a reasonable time. So we had to wait till the next fall. Check this stuff now. Go check your gas tank. See how much is left in it. Does it need to be refilled before October? We checked ours yesterday. It's not low enough for them to come out and refill it. A lot of these companies will not. They'll want it like down to just about zero to make the trip worth it. So just check on it. See where you are with that stuff. Check your gas logs. Make sure that they're clean. They're ready to go. If you are using wood heat, you need to be getting wood now. We live out in the country. We cut our own firewood. Now, I have a fire pit outside that I've just used for bonfires before, but this year we're going to get some more wood. We keep wood because my husband has a smoker, but this year we're going to get more of it because I want to learn how to cook on an open fire. That cannot hurt as far as knowledge. I want to know how to do coffee, biscuits, beans, and meat. That's the 4 things I want to learn myself, how to cook on an open fire, because it's not like going and turning on an electric glass stovetop. It's not. I know that much. So I would really like to learn, get stuff like wood set up, okay? Get stuff cleaned out. My husband, again, goes and cuts our own wood. Check your chainsaws. Check this equipment you're probably going to need in the winter. A chainsaw, especially if you live out in the country, because trees fall when a storm hits. Wind, anything, a tree will fall. It'll block the road. The men around here are like the road crew. Every neighbor will go out and cut these pine trees that'll fall over a roadway. Check your chainsaws. Check your generators. Make sure it runs. Make sure it's in good working condition. Don't wait until a storm hits, okay, guys? If you have a backup electric heater, we have several of those. We bought them and ran these on the generator when the power went out a couple of years ago for 8 days. That's all we had. That's the only heat source we had. Get those out of that closet. Get them to the front. Get ready. Start putting some of the summer stuff up. I know we're going to have a period where there's going to be more heat. We've had Octobers, Halloweens that have been, 90-something degrees. That is nothing unusual here in Alabama, but I feel like it's going to be a tough winter this year. I just do. Now, speaking of closets, get your blankets and all out. Get this stuff out. I don't care how you have this stored. You're probably going to need to freshen this up. If anything, go throw it on the clothesline or either wash it, do something, make sure they're in good condition. No varmint has gotten in them, anything like that. Go check this stuff. Make sure you've got it. You know how many you have. Do you need to replace anything? Also, with closets, start looking at winter clothes. Do you have some kind of something to keep your head warm? I have toboggans. I just pulled out this little scarf I've got. And in fact, during the winter storm last year when it was so cold and we couldn't even go outside, I sat in front of the logs and I crocheted the scarf. I did several. A scarf, you can put it over your ears, keep the wind out of them. It doesn't hurt. Socks. Do you have good socks? In September in Alabama, we're not thinking about these socks, but you will be in a short few weeks. Are your socks in good condition? Do you need to mend your socks? Do you need to go get more socks? Gloves. Guys, I wear gloves every day gardening. I wear leather gloves. They wear out in 1 year, always. I need to go replace mine. Heavy duty gloves, leather gloves, especially if you have animals. Mittens, do you have those? Are they okay? I know a lot of people, they might have, just something get in this stuff, or it degrades over time, or it'll tear. They don't know it. It's July. They don't think about this stuff. Go check it now. Sweaters. See how many you have. If they're running a sale at the store, a lot of this, like I bought this sweater for $1 at a huge department store. They had it marked down. They do that every season, just mark a bunch of stuff down. I'll go buy this stuff and stock up when it's on extreme clearance. That's how I get a lot of this stuff. Just get it out, get it freshened up, get it ready. Boots. Boots. You need to make sure your boots are okay. Now, I wear boots every single day. These are hunting boots. They're canvas, and they're supposed to be the snake boots. I wear those. I know they're in good working condition, but how about just the rest of your fall shoes? Are they in good condition? Check this stuff out. I always tell everybody, have some hard-soled shoes. Boots, boots, boots. Check them, especially if you don't wear them every day. Okay, so kitchen. Let's move on to that. Guys, I can every day. You know this. I've got canned food everywhere. Yesterday, I said, I'm going to make a pumpkin spice cake. I just wanted to. And we have canned pumpkin from 2 years ago that we grew. We are down to 5 quarts of that. Now, today, it's 4. I'm using that older stuff, moving my pantry, getting it rotated. Because I'm running out of jars. This is it. This is it. We're hitting over 1,000 jars. Get this stuff out, start using it. I know you don't want to. I know it looks beautiful and it gives you a sense of security when this stuff is stacked up, but you need to rotate this stuff, okay? Make room in those jars to can something else, keeping it rotated. So I used that yesterday. Start going through here, looking at your oldest food, start using it first, putting your newest to the back. That's how you need to do this. Check your spice rack. Guys, I don't know what it is, but I have been canning apple butter by the jar loads, okay? Got apples on sale a couple of weeks ago. There are not any cloves and there is no nutmeg on our shelves. I don't know why, but it's probably not popular right now, but it's the middle of September. You think they'd start having this stuff. It may just be the time of day I went. I don't know. Go through your spices and look and see what you need. Cinnamon, if you're canning or cooking a lot of fall stuff. Cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, allspice, stuff like that you need to be looking at and making sure that you have enough of. Because in my apple butter, I'm having to omit, I think, cloves because I don't have any. I can't find any. I've looked everywhere. Check this stuff. Make sure you've got this kind of stuff. Do you cook in cast iron year-round? Now, I do. You can see this pan here. He's well seasoned. A lot of people don't cook in it until they make cornbread in the wintertime. We use this stuff all the time. Cornbread with soup is a great meal. Our soups come from everything in these jars. We'll throw some deer meat in it. Cast iron. If you don't use this every day and you just break it out in the wintertime, make sure it's seasoned, it's ready to go. Get it ready. Crock pots. If you haven't used those this summer, get them out. Make sure they're working and functioning. Anything that you use kind of for wintertime. Get this stuff out. Put this summer stuff away. Start rotating your whole house, okay? Recipes for wintertime. Get those books out. Get these crock pot recipes out. Get this stuff out and look and see what you have. Use up this pantry inventory. See what you need. This is time to switch and replace because we're not going to eat a lot of summer stuff in the wintertime. We use this stuff. Last but not least, guys, animals. This is what we learned so much last year. So during this winter storm, the wind is what was so bad. Now, we have chickens. That's all we have, chickens and ducks. A lot of y'all have rabbits that watch us. You may have cattle, etc., etc. Chicken coops, you're going to have the coop where they sleep at night that is sheltered, okay? It's still got an open door to it because they leave it. And a run that is exposed, okay? Wind can get to these coops. The one good thing that happened last year is most of my coops are under trees where it's kind of blocked from severe wind, but some are not. We had to go out during this winter storm and we were buying tarps. Tarps, tarps, tarps. My husband wrapped them all the way around the pens. That way, this wind was awful, guys. It really was. We wrapped everything like my ducks. They just have a small house and they're in a dog kennel with wire around it. The top, the sides, everything, they're exposed. So we wrapped their pens, at least on, I think, maybe 2 sides to shelter which way the wind was coming in. They did fine. A lot of animals will do fine during that. A lot of animals will not. My silkies, we wrap their pen. They're very delicate chickens. They're small. They're not hardy like a Rhode Island Red. We had to do extra protection for those. But every pen out here we had, except our largest one, we wrapped with tarps to keep the wind out. Get some tarps. It never hurts to have some on hand. You can get them for cheap. It's not bad. Go get some, especially if you have animals and they're in some kind of open shelter. Zip ties. Do you have something to tie those tarps up with? Check this stuff now, y'all. That way you don't have to run out and scramble like we did at the last minute trying to get this stuff. Clean their waters, their feeders. Get all this stuff clean while it's warm weather, because you don't want to be doing this if it's 17 degrees outside. Have some backup waterers on hand. I don't care about the feeders. We throw ours feed on the ground, okay? But mine free range, so that's a good thing. We don't stock up on animal feed for that reason, because mine can make it outside without feed just fine. Now we supplement with food scraps, but I mean, they're up in the woods right now digging in the dirt after it rained last night, getting worms and all that. Ours do not have to have feed. We supplement them with feed, very little feed. But the feeders, when I first got in chickens, I thought everybody had to have a feeder. I got them. No, your chicks do, but not grown chickens. You can just throw it on the ground. But waterers, you need to have backups, and let me tell you why. The main waterers that you see at the store are going to have, like for chickens, a white plastic lid and a red bottom. That's going to be the #1 things that you're going to see, unless you get some kind of metal ones. Well, guess what? We have both, and both froze last winter. The temps were so low, and it never did get above freezing for, I think, 48 hours. It may have been longer than that. It was awful. So these chickens didn't have any water. I had to go out there 5 times a day, me and my husband, and bust these waters up. Do you have something to break ice up with? We don't have heated waters. We live in Alabama. This was a fluke. May happen again this year, may not. But we lost a lot of waters to that because when the water froze inside the container, it just busted the whole thing. So when you got it, well, when it got warm enough to melt the water for the chickens, it was just pouring out on the ground everywhere. They had no water. So then we were at the feed store and all this trying to get more waterers for the chickens. Just go on and get a few as backup. It does not hurt. Even if you don't have a winter storm, this stuff does not last forever. It will, fall apart over time. So it doesn't hurt to have a few backups on hand. We lost a lot of waterers last year, but I will say we never lost one chicken. We fed them extra. I don't stock feed. Again, I free range. These, I think during the winter storm, we kept them in the coops because they could stay warm that way. The more mass that was in those coops and they stayed beside each other, the warmer they were. And they've got feathers, but it's cold. The main problem you're going to have is the wind, okay? Especially if these animals are not used to it, just like we're not used to it. They grew up in a warm environment down here in the South. We did too. So it's tougher on us than something that's used to a hard winter every winter, okay? But check your animal coops. And last but not least, do they need to be secured? Do you have a roof that needs to be fixed on one of your coops? A run, wiring, fix this stuff now. Don't wait till a winter storm to try to do this. Get everything secured for winter and fall and cold weather. The animals will take care of themselves, and they did well last year, but there was a lot of stuff that we had to go do. The main thing was the waterers. That was the main thing. So have some of those on backup. Check a backup heat source. Be going through your closets, your pantry, your cooking items. Get all this stuff ready because, guys, I got a feeling fall is right around the corner. Literally it is, but I got a feeling these temps are going to start dropping pretty quick. So I may be wrong, but it never hurts to be prepared. That's what we're doing on our homestead to prepare for winter. We'll see you guys next time on Harmon Homestead.